All right, welcome everyone to the January 2023. This is the first office hours session for the Simplest Marketing Plan. And I'm pretty excited because it's a brand new year. And if you want to know what's new for the 2023 Simplest Marketing Plan, then watch the onboarding session, the replay, which Bonnie, my co-host, Bonnie Fanning, is going to put in the chat. And it will be in the follow-up message that you get with the replay of this one. I'm trying to build a lot of redundancy into this process so that no one says, wait, where was that thing? It's just going to be everywhere, which may be a little overwhelming. I apologize, but I'm going to err on the side of putting things in more places than fewer. So that's what's new for 2023. Speaking of what's new, Bonnie Fanning is new for 2023. So Bonnie, why don't you just briefly unmute yourself and give your elevator pitch or whatever, however you answer the question, what do you do?
Because it's always changing. Hi guys, in case we haven't met yet, I'm Bonnie Fanning. I'm a copy and content writer. I've been doing this for 15 years in-house, and then this year I broke free and I'm a freelancer. Yay! And I'm also building a community around creative people and helping creatives become the most vibrant versions of themselves.
Excellent. And Bonnie, tell the people what you're going to be doing here during this hour for me so they can direct the right things to you.
Yeah, I think the most important thing you guys want to know is that I'll be fielding questions. So just type the word question in the chat because there's a lot in the chat, and I'll be able to see that. And if I don't get to it right away, I'll save it and I'll make sure to ask Ilise at some point. And I'm also just facilitating communication between you guys and Ilise. I'm trying to think of questions that I have that you might also have, things to bring up. So I think that's my main duty here.
Yes, to support me, because one of the shifts I am making, as I said yesterday, we talked about making shifts and I referred to this book, How to Change by Katie Milkman. The Science of Getting from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. It's really awesome. And she talks about shifts in mindset and shifts in labels as well. And so I'm going from solopreneur who does everything by herself to delegating and sharing responsibility and getting help. And I highly recommend it. So I wanted to start, Bonnie, with a quote or a testimonial, really, or a message that someone sent me the other day. Maybe it was last month, actually. Laurel Carpenter, who I don't think is here with us, but Laurel, if you are, please say hello in the chat. She gave me permission to share this. She's from Pearl Consulting. She said, my partner and I have a tiny copywriting business. And this past year, we decided, that was 2022, we decided to focus more on brand voice and website copywriting. We used the SMP to plan out how much income we wanted to see this year. In full transparency, we are not yet a six-figure business, which isn't, the road for everyone. She said, but I wanted to share some fantastic news. In 2022, we grew our income 67%. Isn't that awesome? And although that is due to many factors, the SMP tool was something that helped us to organize. I'm sorry, let me say that most important part again. This SMP tool was something that helped us greatly to organize and plan. We're so appreciative of you and the role you played in helping us grow our revenue. Thank you. Looking forward to 2023 and growing more. So I'm thrilled. Perhaps she's not the only one who grew their revenue last year. And if you did too, I would love to see that in the chat. She happened to reach out to me. I love messages like that. I really think if you use these tools, they will help you. And I showed yesterday in the onboarding session how rich and comprehensive the actual planner is. And we're going to show it again today, actually using the planner in action. And Taylor Farman, who I know is here today. So say hello in the chat, please, Taylor. He's a videographer who I'm working with one-on-one as well. And he has given me permission to share his planner so that you can see how he's using it. Everyone uses it differently, and that's kind of what I love about it. So we are going to begin with a couple of polls because I'm really enjoying these polls. So the first one is here. I'm going to launch it without saying what it is. I promised this yesterday. Do you use an electric toothbrush? Yes or no? Do you use an electric toothbrush? We call this curiosity gap in marketing. What's the name of that guy who talks a lot about that? I can't remember his name. Starts with a D. Andrew Davis.
Yes, yes.
Andrew Davis has a session about curiosity gap, which is awesome. And it's basically, right, sharing something and making people think, what is this about? What is this related to? And then telling them later so that they're paying attention. That's what we're doing to you today. So do you use an electric toothbrush? That's interesting. 52% say yes and 48% say no. All right. I'm going to share the results so you can see them. So not that you should, or, there's no right or wrong here, as with everything, but we're going to come back to the electric toothbrush at the end. And then the other poll I've been doing consistently now for a couple of times, and I do want to keep doing this, is to ask, how busy are you with client work right now? How busy are you with client work right now? And your options are too busy, right? It's January 13th, Friday the 13th. Are you too busy? Are you busy enough? Are you slow? Or do you have no work at all? Those are your options. So we'll give people another moment to answer. Take a breath. I'm going to take a sip. Looks like almost everyone has answered. So I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So you can see that 6% of you, 5 of you, are too busy. 29% are busy enough. 38% are slow. So that's our biggest one. And 27% of you have no work at all. All right. What do you think of that, Bonnie?
Well, I just wanted to share that Erica had a comment here that says, I sort of think of myself as my client while I write.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I brought this up last time you did a poll like this and I was in a session with you, is that we assign meaning to all these different things, but it can be different for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like slow could actually be a good thing for you if you're trying to do something else, or it could be something you aspire to change.
Exactly. But either way, I think it's a good segue to the marketing, because marketing is, in my mind, the pedal on the car or in the car, or the accelerator. It's the thing that gives you leverage, and you can take your foot or your hand off or put it on, depending on how much work you want or don't want. So as I previewed yesterday, we are going to talk about content marketing for the first quarter. For the most part, we're going to focus on content marketing. It's the first tool in the Simplest Marketing Plan. And so let's just do one more poll related to content marketing. And the question is, where are you with content marketing? And here are your options. You can say, I'm doing it and it's working. Or I started doing it, but then fell off the wagon. Or I have ideas, but haven't been able to launch anything yet. Or I want to do it, but I have no idea what to do. Or if it's something that I have not proposed to you, you can put other and then tell us in the chat. And we'll take a moment. It's like almost everyone has, and I haven't defined content marketing yet either. Hopefully you've read a little something or know what it is already, but I will define it. All right, so I'm going to end the poll. Oh, almost everyone has done it. Actually, let's turn that off in the meantime. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So it looks like 8% of you are doing it and it's working. So that's not bad, but a lot of room for improvement. 28% started doing it, but fell off the wagon. 40% have ideas, but haven't been able to launch anything yet. And 7% want to do it, but have no idea what to do. That's pretty good, actually, that it's very low. And then other, are people posting in the chat what could be part of other, Bonnie?
Yeah, we've got quite a few people posting in the chat. Some people saying, I know what I need to do, but I'm procrastinating. Some people saying I'm doing some, but not enough. It's too often for someone else instead of my own business. Just getting started on marketing and it's on my list. So yeah, there's a wide variety of other answers here.
All right. And I did happen to notice that someone said, I have no interest in content marketing. I'm going to respond to that and maybe use that to segue into where we're going with this. First, let me define content marketing. I distinguish content marketing from marketing content first. Marketing content is what you say about yourself, your services, what you do for people. That's what people will find on your website for the most part. On the services page, all of that is marketing content. Content marketing is totally different, and it is actual content about not only what you know, but more important, what your clients and prospects care about, which is their pain points and solutions to their problems and things that they're struggling with and the goals that they're aspiring to and everything you know that would make them say, oh, this is really for me. And this is evidence of this person knowing how I can be helped and they can help me. And what I want to emphasize is that content marketing, the role it plays in the simplest marketing plan is that once you've established relationships with your prospects and your clients through the targeted outreach and through the networking, the best way to stay in touch is through content marketing, sharing what you know, offering something useful, sending out tips. I imagine most of you get my quick tips from Marketing Mentor, and maybe some of you have been on my list for 20 years now and just recently got into a more inner circle, if you will, right? That's because I stay in touch through my content marketing so that no one forgets about me. And also because it takes the burden off of you to remember that I exist. And that's really one of the main points I like to make about the value of content marketing when you are doing it with your prospects and clients, that you're taking the burden off of them. They don't have to remember you exist. It keeps you visible, and it little by little adds layer after layer of trust to their impression of you because you keep showing up. Remember, showing up is my watchword for 2023. This is one of the ways to show up. So for anyone who is thinking in this way of, I have no interest in it, that's fine. But I hope that your lack of interest is because it wouldn't necessarily work for some real reason in your market or the way that you run your business, as opposed to, I really don't want to do that, right? And I'm going to try to make the argument that it's a really good thing and can be very useful. And you know, one of the best marketing tools in the long term over the course of this quarter. That's the argument I'm going to be making. So I'll pause there, Bonnie, and see if there are any thoughts or comments from you or in the chat about this.
No, not really.
Okay,
oh, there is a question. I'm sorry. So when I talk with potential clients, I say I am a content marketer? Question mark.
Well, If you're a content marketer, that means you help your clients with their own content. That's great. Even one more reason why you should be doing your own content marketing as well, right? But the fact that you do content marketing for yourself doesn't necessarily mean you are a content marketer, and that's what you do for your clients. So hopefully that clarifies things. Now, often the problem, the obstacle, the resistance is, yeah, but where does content come from? Where do the ideas come from? How do I know what to write about? Which it doesn't always have to be writing, by the way. We'll talk a little bit about the different formats. But the idea here, and what people say to me often is, I have no ideas. Why would anyone want to hear about that from me? And someone said that to me just the other day. And I had a thought that I thought I would share today and see how this resonates. It's kind of a new thought about where ideas come from, because part of what often gets called imposter syndrome and this feeling of why would anyone want to hear anything from me, or what do I have to add to the conversation that's already out there? That's really not the point. The point is that when you connect with someone, they need to see that you can help them. Basically, that's as simple as it gets. So it's not like I have nothing new to add. That doesn't matter. They're not seeing the whole conversation in the same way that you might be. They're seeing you as a potential resource, and they need reasons to hire you. They need to understand why you're the best fit for them. So the thought I had was this. Hold on, I got to turn the heater off a little bit because I'm getting warm. I'm warming up here. On the one hand, yes, your content can be about what you know and what you're an expert at. But I actually think that what's more useful and maybe easier to access is what you are wanting to learn more about as it relates to your prospects and clients and what they need. So it doesn't have to be about what you already know and you, quote unquote, performing, but more using curiosity as a marketing tool to have conversations with people that then becomes content. And so that may be a little bit abstract. So I had another conversation just a little while ago, actually, with a client who also gave me permission to use her situation as the example. So the thought was that she is a designer who wants to do more digital annual reports. She's done a few. She's not an expert. She wants to do more. She doesn't necessarily feel comfortable enough yet saying, I'm the expert. So what is the content that would help attract the best prospects to her? And so what we came up with was around this idea of curiosity and the questions that both she wants answers to and her clients are asking her about. And so, for example, who does digital annual reports? Who exactly is involved in the process? Does it take a designer? Does it take a writer? Does it take a web developer? Who else could be involved? Does it take a videographer? How much time is involved? How much does it cost? If you have one, does it mean you need to do a new one every year? And how does a digital annual report interact with an existing website? So I suggested to her that she interview her web developer, asking all of these questions, and then they together create a piece of content, or maybe even a series of pieces of content that they then both share on their own platforms and or on LinkedIn. And that's a way to come up with material that isn't necessarily, here's everything we know about this, but here are some of the issues that you care about that you want answers to. So Bonnie, is that clear?
I think that's really clear. I don't see any questions coming in. I do have a question I could throw your way.
Okay.
I noticed in the poll, some people said they don't have client work right now. So I was wondering if there's people here who don't have clients yet. How do you walk that line between seeking knowledge and being curious in your content and also creating content that's useful and helpful to potential clients?
Well, I mean, I often advise people to reach out to prospects and interview prospects as a way to get into a conversation that has fewer of their defenses up. And they may be willing to spend 5 or 10 minutes on the phone with you or on a Zoom call or in writing, just answering the questions that you are curious about. And then you turn that into content. And then sometimes, by the way, that becomes an actual prospect and an actual client, because through that conversation, they see what you're like to work with. And that's really what matters more than anything, is how you work together. And just going back to this idea of cultivating relationships with content, the content process, as well as the actual content that comes out of it.
Great.
All right. So I'm just thinking now how best to use the time, because I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to do the networking. And I like to do that at the half hour, and we're very close to the half hour. So here's what I'm thinking. As promised, I am going to show an example of the Simplest Marketing Planner in action, but I think I'd like to do the networking breakout rooms first. And then we'll come back and show the planner after that. And the prompt, and we will put this in the chat, but the prompt is going to be around content marketing. And so the questions you can discuss are, and again, I'm just going to say them and then we'll post them. Where are you with your own content marketing? And based on that, what is your first or next step? And if you're afraid for any reason about content marketing, what are you afraid of? You're welcome to talk about that. So I'm going to pause the recording. All right, welcome back, y'all. I hope that was a fruitful conversation. And if there's something you learned or an aha moment you had, go ahead and post it in the chat, as well as, thank you for the reminder, your elevator pitches. Please take a moment now to put your elevator pitch in the chat. And if you don't have one, then simply put how you answer the question, what do you do? Because this is a networking opportunity. Everything, by the way, is a networking opportunity. You just never know who's going to need what when, or who's going to come across someone who needs what when. So you always need to have your elevator pitch ready. And I've noticed actually in these first couple of weeks of the year that some elevator pitches are a little rusty, and some people are shifting them and changing them, which is all great. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it should be tailored to whoever you're talking to anyway. So it's never finished. It's constantly evolving, always getting better. But, you know, just take a look and see if there's anyone else that you would like to connect with. All right, somebody is not muted, so I'm going to mute. All right. So we have about 15 minutes. And what I want to do now is show Taylor. In fact, Taylor, would you unmute yourself and just say hello so people can see you and give us your elevator
Hello.
pitch?
Yeah, I was reading everyone's really good elevator pitches and just kind of not writing my,
Disclaimer.
yeah, elevator pitch. I do videos for businesses. That's what I do. Uh, and
That's
hello,
good.
and thank you, Elise, for having me.
Of course. And thank you for sharing your planner. So Taylor has graciously given me permission to share his planner, just so you can see it in action, right? There's no right or wrong. Can I say that over and over, please? There's no right or wrong way to do it. This is just one way to do it. So I'm going to share my screen. And where did it go? Of course. Why can't I find it? It's so bizarre. All right, let me try again. There we go. Go over to Zoom. Voila. All right. So those of you who were with us yesterday or watched the replay have seen the planner. Hopefully all of you have seen it, but we're starting on the page with the weekly marketing schedule. And so here is Taylor's weekly marketing schedule. And as I said, you can delete everything in it one week and replace it with something new for the next week, or you can make a copy every week, or you can print it out and write in it, whatever way you want to. But here's what Taylor was doing a couple weeks ago. So on Monday, his focus was chamber committee. Reach out to someone to figure out if there's a committee within the Hendersonville Chamber of Commerce that would be worth joining. So that's a good thing to do. And he clicked the box under networking events there. These are just things you could do. And remember, we said one small thing a day and or 30 minutes a day. So that's what he's doing. That's what this weekly marketing schedule is for. Ben Roberts, he's a fellow filmmaker, long shot that anything will come of it, but trying to stay connected to my network of video people. Excellent. He didn't have anything for Wednesday. That's okay. Maybe he was working, right, on a client project. Gary, we've been playing tag about this potential video project. So following up, today will be 10 days since the last contact. So should be a good time to try and rekindle something. Excellent. And then add some new text to his website. You can see here content, play around with some different written content, and that's marketing content as opposed to content marketing. All right. And then on the next page, your people and their pain points. The question is, who are your people? He says, marketing agencies, especially ones with outdoor brands as clients, other freelance video people, video producers at marketing agencies. So he's got 3 markets that he's interested in. Where do you find them? Content marketing group, business video marketing group, marketing agencies and companies, right? So that's based on some research and or what he knows. Through which trade associations? He's struggling with these, but he's looking for content marketing trade associations. If people have ideas for him, please put them in the chat. This could be an opportunity to help. At which events online, but especially in real life, Content Marketing World in Cleveland, Ohio. That could be a good one. Content Marketing Conference, local Chamber of Commerce meetings, definitely, right? And that would be a lot less expensive. And then because we're focused on content marketing, here he has, what are your content ideas for this month? Cameron Jarvis, golf video I've been sitting on for way too long. You can see there's a lot of personality here. It's a 12-minute heartfelt story of a kid with diabetes who wants to play college golf, could cut down to shorter pieces. So here's a task for him to do. And which format are you working in? I said to him, video is probably perfect for you because it shows what you do. So I would definitely do video. And then under the strategic networking, remember yesterday we talked about what questions do you have for your people? This is related to the curiosity as a marketing tool idea. What do you want to know? You could ask at an event, you could ask in an email, you could ask in a forum or in a group on LinkedIn or just in a post on LinkedIn. Do you have a website? How are you currently marketing your services? How do you find clients and prospects? Do you use social media, right? All related to video, but not necessarily targeting video, which is fine because that will help him get into a conversation about video. And then, have you ever done video for your brand or company? If so, what was that experience like? And what was your biggest success this year? Awesome. How did you make that happen? Right? So a version of these questions can be used by anyone offering anything. I'm going to show one more page here, and then we're not going to look at his prospect tracker, but I wanted to show tracking it. And then Bonnie, if there are questions or comments or you want to say anything, you can. So how much money do you want to earn per month? His goal is 12,000. To get there, how many of which types of projects do you need and at what rates to reach that financial goal? He says 2 $4,000 jobs, already have one on retainer, plus 3 $3,000 videos. And that will make up the gap, right? So here's the formula, same thing right there. Here's what he needs. And then who will get you there? I have my $4,000 a month retainer client and 3 podcasts at $450 each in the bag and one $3,250 video photo project booked. That puts me at $8,650, well short of my goal. It's not that bad. You just need one client, one project. And I have no new prospects in the funnel at this point. All right. So actually, that's a good segue. Taylor, is that still true? You have no new prospects in the funnel at this point?
That is a false statement, Elise.
What have you got in your
Uh,
pipeline now? What have you
I'm
done?
actually talking with Elise in a little bit because I have a potential long-term video project coming up for a TV show for I forget it. Some of you might know what it is. I forgot what it is
Reality.
already. But it's a 31-week reality show, like a car renovation show, which could be really cool.
Mhm.
Very out of the blue. Plus, I have like 4 or 5 other projects that since I've been working with Elise have been coming out of the woodworks. So it's been really cool.
Do I get credit for that?
Every single one of them. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Taylor. Bonnie, what do you think? Thoughts, questions?
I love that you said out of the blue, but I wonder how out of the blue that really
Yeah,
is.
I'm going to do a rant this week on my podcast about out of the blue, I think.
Awesome. There was a comment here. Laura said that Taylor, you should check out the Content Council, but I wasn't sure what that was. So I was asking Laura to clarify in the chat.
Beautiful. All right. So thank you, Taylor, for sharing that. I just wanted people to see how one person is using it. If you want me to show your planner on the next one, please send it to me and I'd be happy to. Let's see. I think we have about 5 minutes and I want to open the floor and see if people have questions or comments about what we've talked about. Ideally, what we've talked about here. And I'll try to answer them. So either raise your hand or unmute yourself and I will call on you.
I've been watching. There's just one thing that Marie was asking, how long has Taylor been working with you?
Probably like 2 months.
Yeah, I think we've met three times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not long. He's
not long.
absorbing everything and running with it.
Much to learn.
Yes. Debbie, I see you. Go ahead.
Hi, Elise.
Yeah, you're unmuted. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I was wondering, you just showed his calendar, and I'm printing off the calendar so I could do it every week.
Mhm.
Should I just print off page 5, which is just a calendar, or should I also print off the next page that says your people and their pain points?
Well, it depends on how often that changes for you. It might evolve as you go, but you certainly don't need it every week.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anyone
We got
else?
another one in the chat here.
Yes.
Leslie was asking, what are some different types of questions you can ask potential clients or in an email pool?
It's hard to generalize about that because it really depends on who they are and what you want to know. That's why I like Taylor's examples, because they're very general. Like, what are you doing to market your business already? And then you can be listening from the point of view of how what you offer fits into that. Or you can ask very specifically about what they're doing as it relates to copywriting or design or video. If people have other questions that they usually ask, please put them in the chat and that will help. I see Diana and then Jennifer. So Diana, go ahead.
Thank you, Elise. I just wanted to say I really like the new planner. When I first saw it, I was not happy because it was just different. But now I see that, like you explained to us yesterday, it's actually simplified. And I think that the weekly planner part is going to be very helpful. And also the clear daily 30-minute a day suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very excited and confident about the next 12 months.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm so glad to hear that, Diana. And Jennifer, talk to us.
Hey, Elise. I want to change what I do and who I do it for. And
Okay.
so I feel disingenuous with my elevator phrase because it's not, I'm like, no more nonprofits, so I'm not sure what to do, and then if I say what I want to do and that it's aspirational, then what's the point, so I'm not
No,
really
I
sure.
totally disagree, Jennifer. I mean, it should be aspirational, and you could just phrase it as, I'm looking to work with more and more fill in the blank. Here's what I do, and I'm looking to work with more and more of these types of organizations.
That would be cool, because that would help with the transition.
Try that, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe don't be as literal as you are thinking about it, because people are actually not listening that closely. And so they may not even notice, right? That's why I repeat things constantly.
True. Cool. Thank you.
Try it, see how it goes.
Mm.
All right, we have time for one more question or comment. Dawn, I see your hand.
Okay, so once you do your content marketing and you get clients interested, what's a rule of thumb for retainer? Like, I have a client who wants to do a retainer and I'm not used to it. Where do we even go, like starting to learn? Would the Graphic Artist Guild handbook be a good resource, or?
So you're
I
not,
don't know what
so
to
first of
charge.
all, let's define what a retainer is, because let's
Mhm.
not assume everybody knows. A retainer is basically when you have an agreement on a monthly basis to perform a certain type or amount of services for prospects or clients. And it sounds like you have someone you're already working with who wants to go to the next level with you in some kind of retainer relationship or agreement.
Correct.
Okay, so again, I'll answer the question, but if other people have suggestions and experience, please do put it in the chat. But I would say the next step should be to outline not only what they need on an ongoing basis, but what they're willing to pay, what they can afford to pay on an ongoing basis, and then come to an agreement about what it is, and then just put it in writing.
What is there a good rule of thumb? Like if they're giving you bulk work, do you lower your hourly rate for them, or is it all like a per project basis?
There are a couple different ways of doing retainers. I wouldn't off the bat lower your hourly rate. I would basically position it as, I will be on call for you to do the things and give you priority. And that's why you're getting this price, right?
Thank you.
That's the framing of it, as opposed to,
Yeah.
I'll give you a discount because you're giving me a regular gig.
Okay.
If they
Yeah,
ask
'cause I
for
don't-
it, then you can negotiate, but I wouldn't.
Because I didn't want to discount,
No, I wouldn't volunteer it.
but yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck with that. Let us know how it goes. And Bonnie, have I forgotten anything before we wrap up? Oh yeah, the electric toothbrush.
Yes, I thought that was the wrap up. So yes.
The
It's
wrap up
time.
is the electric toothbrush. And I hope most people know that with an electric toothbrush, it basically gives you 2 minutes of teeth brushing, and then it tells you when your 2 minutes is up. And that is what Katie Milkman calls a commitment device, because you're basically outsourcing the boundary or the deadline or the structure to a piece of technology in this case, so that you can't say, no, I don't really feel like brushing for 2 minutes, or I don't feel like doing that, or I don't feel like doing my marketing. And so that's just my way of saying, please use me and us and these monthly meetings as a commitment device to get your marketing done. And don't say, I don't feel like doing it. All right. Can everyone agree to that? And can you agree to show up on next time, February 3rd, the first Friday of the month? That's when the office hours will be, except January, right? Every month starting in February, first Friday of the month, always at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I will always send a reminder with the Zoom link the morning of my morning. All right, so thank you, Bonnie, for being there and really helping me. It's awesome. And thank you all for showing up. And we will send the replay out on Sunday. That's when I send it out. And but it's always already on the playlist within 10 or 15 minutes. I post it immediately, and that is linked in the planner as well. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.